show you radar all day. And you know, the one thing I did earlier is I saw the radar signature. The first thing you do is start asking our spotters. Our spotters came through, and boy, did we get some pictures and videos in. You know, Melissa sent me a great picture from Westport, some video of it rotating and crossing over. Also, Heidi, thank you so much for sending those in. A lot of these actually helped spur the warning because passed us along to the National Weather Service to issue that warning. But if anything, the cell looks like it might be getting a little stronger. Let's go over to the velocity data again. So where the circulation is, Presbyterian Road, east of Midway Lake Road. This is the southeast side of Mount Morn. And again, this is traveling to the northeast. What I'm looking at is right here. This appendage, this hook, is actually where the rotation is. The reason you see that appendage or you see that hook echo, looks like a fish hook, that is because the rotation in the storm is actually grabbing the precipitation on the back side of this and actually brings it down to the surface. So let me grab my arrow. So the rotation is pulling moisture wrapping around like this. Warm, moist air is being fed into the storm, and it creates this hook. And where you're looking for the tornado, it's going to be right at that barb of the hook, so right in there. So that's the area, and again, that is traveling off in this direction to the northeast right now. Let me look at the speed. I'm going to double check the speed. I'm going to recalculate this. I've got it moving now 15 miles per hour to the northeast, so I wanted to double check with that speed. So let's do an updated storm track, because what we'll do is we'll update this storm track for that current speed. And another thing to remember as we're tracking this, don't take these times to be to the second or minute. Many of you are watching me on a live stream. Those streams are delayed by maybe 30 or 40 seconds. If you're watching cable satellite, there's a delay between when I'm actually saying this and you're receiving it. So give yourself some buffer of about 2 to 3 minutes. Do it earlier than later. Seek that shelter and then stay there an extra 2 to 3 minutes after, because there are delays in a lot of the transmission of this video, especially with modern streaming services. If you ever watch sports, you know what I'm talking about. There is not true real time. It is a little bit of a delay. So there's a view. You see the camera off to the right of the screen. That's the Freedom Boat Club. And again, that looks to me like they're probably in the cell south of there. So that darkening there is actually the cell just to the south, which is going to be down here. That's the second cell, which is coming up through Lowellsville and Westport. The cell right now that we're tracking the possible tornado is south of Mooresville in the Mount Morn area, tracking off in this direction at about 15 miles per hour. Let's look at, it's pretty far from the radar down in Greer, so you're probably not going to see a debris signature showing up on this, but we'll look at that real quickly. And again, yes, I'm not seeing anything that would indicate that we've got debris in there. But when you look at the velocity data, one of the things that Doppler radar allows us to do is you could see you know, the winds coming out of this, and what we're looking for is right around the Mount Morn area. It doesn't look very strong, but if you look carefully, this is where it takes a lot of interpretation and looking closely at the pixels. That's why we use these individual pixels. The reds are going away from the radar, and the greens are coming towards the radar. So right in there, north of Presbyterian Road there, heading towards Rocky River, that's where you would indicate that there's some possible rotation right there. It's very small and it's very weak, to be honest with you, but it's rotation nonetheless. And we've got confirmation from pictures and video coming in. As I take a look, I'm just scrolling through some of my spotter reports because I'm trying to turn these around as quick as possible for you guys. Yeah, we're continuing to see, I'm not seeing anything that looks like it's touching the ground recently. Most everything I'm seeing right now is just either a funnel cloud or what we call a wall cloud, which is a lowering. We're starting to see some pictures come in as well of some of those lowering. A great resource, guys, would be go to my Facebook page and go to the comment section on my post from 513, and you will see a lot of the videos in the comment section there of this crossing over the lake. And again, I can show you, I'll go back. I think this was probably around that time when I posted, around 5:10. This was the actual funnel cloud. This is from Westport. So it looks to me like they're looking over the lake or through one of the little coves up there. You can actually see the funnel. Now the videos that we've seen have actually shown that rotating as well. And that's always nice. Stills, yeah, it's a funnel shaped cloud, but the video is like worth its weight in gold because you can actually see the rotation of that funnel cloud as it pushes off to the north and east. So that's the reason we have the warning. It's actually come from spotter reports like you at home helping us out to warn people downstream. So again, tornado warning for southeastern Iredell County and western Rowan County till 6:15. It's 5:50 now. This thing is not moving fast. As far as tornadic storms are, this is moving really slow, to be honest with you. It is moving only at 15 miles per hour. So a lot of the times you see these storms moving 25, 35, 45 miles per hour. This is a slow mover, which is also an indication that it's not producing super strong winds as well, because a slow moving storm is not able to generate that speed with the forward motion. Still getting some reports of getting a lot of low clouds. Thanks, April just sent me some video from the Mooresville area. Yeah, it still looks like, to me, looking at the video, yeah, I'm playing that in the background, but you could see people definitely out there. They see the rotation in the clouds. Looks like it's mainly aloft right now, looking at some of the video. But again, good thing to have the warning out, because if that continues to touch down as more pictures come in. But that's the hook. See the appendage right there, south of Mooresville? So this is heading towards Patterson Road there. Unity Church Road, Wright Road is there. This is Highway 153. This is Highway 150. So the north side of the storm is near Highway 150. The storm is actually east of 115, traveling basically right on the Mecklenburg, Cabarrus, and Iredell, Rowan County line. So kind of where they all come together. So you could see that system continues to, I don't know why we got two warnings pop. That's kind of weird to see them pop up, but that warning is actually till 6:15 as that storm continues to push up. I'm going to turn the spotter reports on too to see if any of our spotter reports come in from the lake. There's also some pretty good cloud to ground lightning, which is indication the updraft is still pretty strong within that cell, which is an indication that it's still gaining some strength as it pushes off to the east. Let me put a quick track on this. We'll update the track for you at home. So Enochville, updated time again, 6:20. Remember, we'll put the actual time at the top in the banner. It's the upper right-hand corner, 5:52 when I'm talking right now. So make sure you're giving yourself some buffer time for that, plus or minus about 3 or 4 minutes. Landis around 6:34, China Grove at 6:41, and then Mount Mitchell, which is further to the east, that's probably much later if it makes it that far. We'll see if the warning continues to be in effect for that length of period of time. So the update here is this storm is moving northeast at 15. It's about 9 miles northwest of Kannapolis now, or near Mooresville, moving east at 10. So it's actually slowing down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to our Kannapolis camera. So our Kannapolis camera is just to the south of this cell. It actually would have a pretty ideal view. I'm going to go over to the camera controls here as I'm talking to you guys to see if we can't widen this out for you. I'm going to widen it out as much as we can. And that Kannapolis camera, again, we're looking back through Kannapolis from Atrium Ballpark up there. And we can't really see much, and you're kind of down a little bit here in the stadium, so it's kind of hard to tell where you're looking. But the reason we're looking at the Kannapolis camera, and I'll give you some perspective here with the map as we bring up the radar and set the radar together in the warning. So Kannapolis is right here, right here, and we're looking off in this direction. So Kannapolis is at the bottom of your screen, and you can see it looking off to the north as we're looking towards that cell. So again, this is a tornado warning for now western Rowan County, parts of Iredell County still till 6:15. It's about to move over Highway 3 as it continues to push east. So Johnson Dairy Road, Walking Horse Trail, Patterson Farm Road, Sample Road, eventually over here towards Cloverfield Drive, Deal Road, Unity Church Road, Wright Road, south of Mayberry Lane. So that's kind of the corridor we're looking at in the southern sections of Iredell and the southwestern sections of Rowan County. The biggest city coming up, or town, is going to be Enochville, and then Landis and China Grove. I actually think this is going to stay maybe just south of Salisbury, but if you're in Salisbury, you need to go ahead and pay attention to this right away, because this eventually could head up that way as it moves in your direction. But there's the couplet right there, just south of downtown Mooresville. So downtown Mooresville, you're seeing heavy rain. Thank goodness, it's just to your south. Again, it's crossing right now. It looks like I'm trying to look at these roads. Looks like it's crossing over Shear Road, and it's moving along Johnson Dairy Road, which is just north of Walking Horse Trail. So again, that's just west of Highway 3 there. As you look, you see some of the videos and pictures. That's kind of what we've been seeing, some of this rotation, these low-hanging clouds, not rotating rapidly, but you're seeing some pretty decent rotation in this cell, but not what I would call violent rotation. That's actually a good sign. As scary as those clouds are, the fact that they're moving so slow is an indication that it's not gaining strength. If they start picking up speed, we see tightening rotation, you know you're going to see some stronger wind speeds. One of the things these storms do, as the vorticity or the rotation shrinks, it creates more wind. That's conservation of angular momentum. If you've ever played tetherball and you know when the rope gets short, that ball spins faster and faster. That's what happens in these. When that circulation gets shrunk down, you start to see rotation much quicker and quicker. And that's what you don't want to see. You don't want to see that rotation tighten up, because you know that's going to enhance the wind speeds and you're going to see much stronger wind. So let's go back to the track and put it through these areas. And again, if you're watching us on air, online, or on social media right now, and let's say you don't live in this part of Iredell, Rowan County, or northern Cabarrus County, but you have friends, family, colleagues, church, churchgoers you go with at church, give them a call. Say, hey, there's a tornado warning in your area. They may not be paying attention. Remember, it's that time of day right now. We're coming up at 6 o'clock. A lot of folks are in their cars. They're traveling back and forth from work to school, errands, practices, camps. Make sure they know that they're in the tornado warning. Just got a friend of mine, she's actually in that area. She lives on Prosperity Church, or Prosperity Road and Johnson Dairy Road. Walking Horse Trail is her neighborhood. So she heard me mention that on the air and just sent me a message. They had a video of the storm coming across their neighborhood. Again, she told me, just looking at my message real quickly here, Melissa just sent that to me. So lots of video of the storm from their front porch. So it sounds like they're still seeing rotation, but it sounds like from her message, I'm waiting for her, I hope she's in a safe spot. So Melissa, if you're watching, please be in your safe spot. That it may be not touching the ground, but there's a lot of rotation in the cloud. And a lot of the videos in some of the tweets we're seeing that people are sending me, that's what I'm looking at. Champ just sent me a video, and again, there's a lot of what we call, almost looks like scud, but it's certainly rotating. Those low-hanging clouds beginning to rotate and push in. I'm looking at the video now. Yeah, it's not very strong, the rotation. It's very weak in nature, but it's still rotating. So we're still seeing that rotation. So this warning is very much warranted because it could strengthen at any point, and if it does touch down, there could be, even if it's a weak tornado. I mean, this sounds weird saying weak tornado, because EF0, EF1 tornado still has winds, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. That's still going to cause damage. So we don't want to see this thing touch down. Hopefully it stays aloft and never makes it to the ground. But again, that tornado warning is up until 6:15, which is only about 17 minutes from now. That's the picture we got earlier from Westport. Pretty impressive funnel cloud right there. That video is impressive to see that. And that's actually some rotation you could see in that cell as it was moving across the lake. And those were the first signs. Back towards Lincolnton, I was watching this storm and saw the couplet or the little hook on it, and you could see that it had some rotation in there. And then started getting reports. I think one of the things about the lake, it gave people a much clearer view because of the lack of trees, so you're able to see the storm a little better, and that just is a visibility issue. So you start to see better visibility, and that's where we started getting the funnel cloud reports. So we're likely going to see this cross the county line. It's going to move from Iredell County into Rowan County. As that moves into Rowan County, you'll see the warning canceled for Iredell. Doesn't mean the storm is over. It just means it's moved out of the county, and the Rowan County part of the storm will stay in effect until 6:15. I'm going to do just a little loop here just to show you the movement. If you're in Mooresville, in downtown or the west side, and if you're west of I-77, you're in the clear. If you're east of Mooresville, towards the county line with Rowan, you need to stay in your shelter location until this storm passes. It is still potentially producing at least a funnel cloud, we know at the least, and at the worst, there could be a tornado actually on the ground. Looking at some of the videos coming in, a lot of low clouds rotating. But I have not seen one video or picture that shows it all the way to the ground, which is a good indication that hopefully this thing is just a funnel cloud. I say just a funnel cloud. It doesn't make it any less scary or less severe. It just means hopefully it stays off the surface and we won't see it actually produce a tornado with damage on the ground. So just south of Mooresville, we're getting ready to cross over the county line here. We're not too far away. Let me call out a couple more streets that I see. I'm going to turn the lightning off because lightning's not important right now. The roads it's about to cross, Patterson Farm Road is here. Sample Road is here. Almora Loop, Rocky River Road. So the circulation is right over you right now. Let me widen this out so you guys, I'll put it in the middle of the screen so you can see it better. So right there, southeast of River Birch Circle, south of Linwood Road, right there on Highway 3, and heading towards Sample Road, you see that appendage right there. This is the rotation. It's right here. So the videos and pictures we're seeing is of that low-hanging cloud, which is the wall cloud, rotating, and that's the precursor to a tornado. At times it's producing a funnel cloud, whether the funnel cloud's making contact with the ground. Haven't seen video evidence that it's done that yet. And remember, if you can't see all the way to the surface, you can't really say it's on the ground until you see that. You're looking for debris or something being lofted up to give you some indication. Haven't seen a lot of that either. Just got another picture of the wall cloud from Rocky River Road and Highway 3 looking northeast at 6 p.m. So this is the exact area. I'm calling these roads out in the air, and this is exactly where the pictures, thanks to our spotters, Timothy, thank you so much. That was a great update because that's confirming the radar is one tool, but the human eye and pictures are a great tool as well. And that is pushing off towards Juniper Road. So to me, it looks like it's shifting north just a hair. It's getting a little bit closer to the northeast there, pushing towards Sample Road and Rocky River Road. So that's the area we're at right now, guys. And to me, it looks like it's getting a little farther away from the Mecklenburg County and the Cabarrus County line, which means it's getting a little bit closer to the southeast side of Mooresville.
All right, Brad, thank you so much. We want to just jump in and let folks know, if you are just joining us for the 6 o'clock hour, we know we have some new eyeballs here. We have a tornado warning for Iredell and Rowan counties, and we are asking folks to get to their safe place. 6:15, Brad, that's how long this is set to last, at least at this point, right?
Yeah, so 6:15. I don't think it'll probably go longer than that unless we see some more confirmation. It's such a slow-moving storm, guys. Normally when I'm tracking tornadoes, we're talking 35, maybe 30 minimum, sometimes 45, 50 miles per hour. This is moving 10 to 15 miles per hour. So it is a very slow-moving storm, which means it's sitting over the same area for a long period of time, which is giving people a lot of visibility of it as well. We're probably going to see that tornado warning expire here shortly for Iredell County as it crosses the line. So if you see that happen, don't think that the storm is dissipated. It just means it moved from one county to the other. That's why you're seeing a doubling up there of the warnings currently. And again, that one will clear out here in a second when it's reissued. One thing it does look like they dropped the polygon a little bit closer to the Kannapolis area. So China Grove is here. Here's Mooresville. Mount Morn area is down here. So it's east of Mount Morn. If you're in the Mount Morn area, you're okay. China Grove, Granite Quarry, the Rowan side of Kannapolis, you need to be seeking shelter right now. So I'm going to change the radar on that other source, guys. It's not giving us a lot of good information. We'll zoom in here. There we go. So there's a look at the alerts there. You can see that warning right there east of Mooresville, south of Mount Ula, traveling to the east. So you just saw the update to the warning there, removing that other one. Eventually this will cross the county line. So that black line right there, that's the county line. So you're seeing more video coming in via Twitter. We're getting a ton on Facebook. Thank you for posting. Robert just sent me some video. It looks like a little bit of small hail coming out of that cell as well. And the hail and the lightning are key to me because that tells me too that the updraft is still strengthening. You're still getting some lift, which is creating a strong storm. So south of Mount Ula, there east of the Mooresville area. Let's look at the velocity data again. There's still a rotation there, and what you're looking at on velocity data here is you can see southeast of Highway 3, we've got the wind going away from the radar. The radar's over at Mount Mountain Lake. The greens are coming towards the radar to the north. So those wind speeds aren't very strong in that area, but what you're seeing and I'll kind of draw them on it. The reds are going off in this direction. If I can get this to draw on the map here. We're getting some pretty strong winds going in that direction, and then other ones coming back towards the south. So that's an indication, you're getting some at least weak rotation in there. Just around Linwood Road and Highway 3. That seems to be the area where we're getting the rotation. And there's still a little hook there. There's a little hook echo right there. It's crossing Highway 3 as we speak. So right there is the rotation we're seeing on the radar. That continues to push east at only 10 miles per hour. Every time the radar updates, it's barely budging off to the east, which kind of indicates how slow moving this cell is. I'm trying to get some video from this area, but looking at some of the video, all this video I'm seeing is clear funnel clouds and rotating wall clouds. Most of that is what we're seeing. I have not seen anything in contact with the ground, though. This video is the closest. Yeah, I mean, a lot of what we're seeing is rotating wall clouds and funnel clouds, not much touching the ground just yet. But it's hard to see with the trees, honestly. A lot of the videos you're seeing, thanks for sending those in. Folks, our spotters our WCNC weather spotters sending us a ton of videos and pictures of almost the same thing. This is a very populated area, so you're clearly gonna see a lot of videos coming in, and that's what we're seeing right now. Rotation right there about across the county line. So Rowan County, this is moving into your area. Enochville and China Grove, you're next in line, unfortunately, for this. So if you're not in your shelter location now, you need to do so right now. One of the benefits of a slower moving storm, we got a little bit more lead time for some of these cities and towns ahead of the storm. So if you're in a shelter location, this actually gives you time. If you're in a mobile home or manufactured home and you're in China Grove or maybe further east, you actually do have time to get in your car and go to a shelter location or a safer location. That would be a sturdy, firm built structure, maybe down to the 7-Eleven, the QT, the local gas station, Walmart, whatever's close by that you can get to, or a friend's house. Go ahead and do that right now, because that cell still looks like it's producing at least weak rotation, and it could become more violent if the rotation begins to strengthen up or tighten up. And that tightening up is actually what would create the stronger wind speeds. You're seeing the videos, again, as we're showing you the radar, you're looking at viewer submitted videos off in our other box there, and it kind of shows you that lowering. That's the rotating wall cloud. Sometimes that wall cloud is the precursor to a tornado, not all the times, but we're seeing funnel clouds at least coming out of it at the very least as this is traveling into Rowan County. So let's go back to the velocity day, see if I can kind of indicate again, kind of show you what I'm talking about here. The area that we're looking at is that green area, our winds going off in that direction. I'll put an arrowhead on here so it's easier for you guys to see. The greens are away from the radar, the reds are towards the radar. So the air in between there is forced to rotate counterclockwise in there, and so that's when you end up seeing rotation right there in between the two wind flows, and that's an indication where you get the rotation showing up on Doppler radar. So that's when you see velocity data on radar. That's what it's helping us to do. So we're continuing to track that. I'm chatting back and forth. They're going to let this storm warning expire at 6:15, just so everybody knows, kind of like for planning purposes here. It's not getting stronger. We're not seeing that tightening of the rotation. One of the things that we do is I'm in constant contact with the National Weather Service in Greer, Raleigh, Columbia, Blacksburg, Virginia, the areas that cover the Western Carolinas, and we have an ongoing chat where we're talking about what we're seeing. Actually, a lot of the information you passed along to me, I passed along to them. That's the reason the warning was actually issued, due to some of the pictures and images we got, and that actually prompted the warning. But they are basically saying that they're probably going to let the tornado warning expire at 6:15, which is coming up here, and I have in about 3.5 minutes, guys. Have not seen any other damage reports, which is good. The fact that we've got so much video and pictures of the funnel cloud and no damage reports is another indication that this was likely a funnel cloud the whole time and never made contact with the ground. If it did, it was so weak that it didn't cause any significant damage. The most vivid pictures we've seen are over Lake Norman, the Westport area as it crossed over and headed towards southern Iredell County that's when we saw the rotation and the wall cloud there. And you're seeing some of the videos. And the video you're looking at right now is a good indication of how you can't tell if it's a tornado or not, because you can't see down to the ground. So you could see the funnel, but that tree is blocking your view of the ground, so you can't tell if it's in contact with the ground, and that's the key. But that's primarily what we've been seeing. That's the funnel cloud for sure. You see there's some up and down movement. There's the thing in these storms, you don't want to see the up and down movement as much. That's not an indication of strong rotation. You want to see more horizontal movement. Up and down movement happens when just about every thunderstorm. That's the convection current that a thunderstorm produces. If you see it rotating violently, and the stronger and smoother it gets, that's an indication of a much stronger rotation. So the fact that it looks very fuzzy and kind of, broken apart there, and there's up and down movement, shows you it's a very weak rotation. But the couplet, when we talk about couplets, we're talking about that rotation on velocity. It's not very strong, but when you look at the reflectivity, which is what most people look at, you see a hook. There's a hook that tells you that moisture is wrapping around the back side of that. So you're certainly seeing rotation in that storm. It's not very strong. And in that case, you tend to see, so this is basically the hook coming out here, air's getting pulled in there, and that's what's creating the backside. This is rain getting wrapped around into the rotation, which creates the hook echo, and then the inflow creates that little notch or that weak echo region right there. And where you're going to see, if you're going to see a tornado, it's going to, let me grab my cursor here, it's going to be right at the apex of that little hook. So that's pushing east, crossing Rowan County line on Patterson Farm Road, just south of Highway 150 as it goes from Iredell County into Rowan County. This is just to the west of Unity Church Road, north of Deal Road, and west of Mulberry Lane. So again, it's 6:12 right now. The warning is set to expire in, I have actually 6:14 on my watch, so it should be quicker than that. It should be expiring here in about 20 seconds or so, guys.
Well, Brad, quick question here, since we have the attention of folks. You had pinpointed several days going forward this week where we might be weather aware.
Yeah.
Do you think that we also need to be weather aware on this front? Because I know a lot of what you talked about was flash flooding.
Yeah, probably not. This is just one isolated little storm that was spinning because of a meso-low. Most of what we're going to see this week is going to be flash flooding. So the severe weather risk overall, you can see we have almost no warnings in our whole area except for one tornado warning. So these cells haven't had a long history of producing a lot of damaging winds or rotation. But what they're going to do over the next couple of days is produce a lot of rain. I think the reason this one was rotating is we had a little spin in the atmosphere, and we started talking about this at 4 o'clock, what we call a meso-low, that was enhancing the helicity or rotation with this individual cell. If you look, there's lightning in that cell. If I widen out, there's no other lightning in the area. So it's this one little storm that has some kind of extra lift and spin, which is creating the rotation. It's about to cross the county line here into Rowan County. So we're likely going to see this move into Rowan County, and then we'll see if the warning goes away completely. They just expired it, guys. So we're going to go ahead and take that down. It's still going to stay up here for a second just because there's a delay in the data, but Weather Service is going to expire that warning for Iredell and Rowan County. But here's the thing, even though the warning expires, as we were doing before the warning was issued, we were giving you a heads up. Still be weather aware in Rowan County for this cell for the next, I'd say, 20 to 30 minutes, because who's to say it couldn't spin back up and produce another tornado or a funnel cloud until it exits the region, guys.
Yeah, and we're not seeing as many outages as well. You're kind of alluding to the tornado touching down, maybe not touching down, and I was expecting to see, outages in the thousands. We're only seeing 400 or so right now, Brad. So
yeah, and that's the indication. As many pictures and videos as we're getting and no damage reports,
right,
that's actually a good sign. That means we're not seeing surface damage. We're just seeing this ominous rotating funnel cloud, which thankfully is not doing damage down at the ground.
And obviously something, like you said, to watch for throughout the evening as well. And then next couple of days, well, the rain we're going to get. So if you're just joining us here, obviously coming out of that time period where we had a tornado warning for Iredell and Rowan counties, obviously stay weather aware throughout the night, though.
Yes, and just a great reminder at a time like this, if you have that WCNC Charlotte mobile app, if you do happen to lose power in a time like this, you can always go ahead and stream, and you'll also get the weather alert. So we just want you to be safe. So we'll be right back with more news.
week with real.
Everyone is invited.
It's Sweethearts Week,
It's Teachers Week.
Teen Week.
Margaritaville.
Restock the margarita bar.